What's up? It's Jameel. I'm back from Dallas, Texas, and have I got some big news for you with the Dallas Card Show 2021, as well as the state of the hobby, and I got a chance to be in the Mecca with all this crazy past weekend, so tune into episode 21. Let's get it! Boom! Hello. Well, I just got back from Dallas, Texas. My wife and I actually drove back. We drove there and we drove back, and we have got so much to share with you. I got the big van unloaded, got everything back in the shop. I sat down. I was thinking, I'm gonna have a Millipops t-shirt on. I guess I gotta put this one on. But just got back, and I thought, let's get this episode cranked out so Aaron can get to the editing and get all this information to you all out there, because I'm stoked to talk about the Dallas Card Show. So before we do, one always plug before we get going. We have Millipops Madness session number 32, this weekend on Instagram, and let me tell you about it. If you like deals, you like having fun, like hanging out with the community, making offers on cards, getting deals, this is the place for you. But even to the nth degree this week, because we have so much inventory I brought back from Dallas, spent tens of thousands of dollars on lots and lots of different collections. I'll talk a little bit about things here and there. And I can't wait to share some of that with you guys, give the deals. And it's on Instagram. It's on Instagram Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is session 32 of Millipops Madness. We have just created a monster and we love it. So hope to see you there. All right, so I'm going to get into this Dallas Card Show episode, as well as where we kind of are, I think, in the state of the hobby, because I did witness a lot of different things that were really cool, as well as maybe not so cool, I think. And I think it's good to report on some of those things as well. So I'll just give the backstory from my perspective, what happened, what I saw, what I was watching, what I was listening to, what I was able to kind of see on the showroom floor. But let me just give you this with a grain of salt, because it was pure frenzy. There was so much happening. Tons of people were there. I talked to some other dealers, friends of mine, people that I know in the industry for quite some time, and many of us were in agreement that Friday of the show, it was a Thursday setup, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when it really turned into a Thursday dealer show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That time was the most frenzied I'd ever seen in a card show, comparable to the last National at Chicago. But this was different because the Chicago National has all the glitz and glamour, the corporate, the paninis, and everybody's there, the breakers and all that other stuff. This is just straight up dealing, and in this massive room, I think it was 500 plus tables, and really done. Really saw some cool stuff. It was just a cool part to be a part of. But the frenzy, and what I mean by frenzy is just the speed of deals and the speed of money being spent in those first 24 to 48 hours was amazing. Have a lot to share with you. I'll go through some pictures and some videos I have as we get going, and I'll get into more of the nitty-gritty of kind of what we did. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, I can't say this enough. The hobby is in a great place in terms of the people. I saw and met a lot of you out there. Many of you have just said, you watch Millipops stocks on YouTube. My voice is already going, so that just shows you how much I was talking and hanging out with you all this past week. But we're in a good place. I think there are a ton of people. A lot of you out there continue to learn. I had a lot of questions and watched a lot of you out there buying and selling. We are in a very unique place where there is a culmination or an influx of people entering into the hobby, not necessarily always knowing what's going on, but knowing it's fun, and that's cool, right? Having just so many people excited about the hobby. We brought specifically everything we could possibly bring because we drove. So we drove on Wednesday, got there on Thursday night, and started setting up. We brought wax, we brought sports cards, we brought raw and graded, and we brought Pokemon. And I think that was a good mix for us because we had quite a bit going on. I didn't sign up for the show until later. Kind of bad communication on my part and others. And and we were in the back corner, but that's okay because I was actually okay with that space. We were in the back corner in kind of two different areas, and I guess that's a good leeway into showing you some videos of kind of where we were. All right, so this is us in the back corner, kind of our little setup, and I'll get to our setup picture in a second.
We're in the back corner, right, Mayor? Come see Mayor. She takes all the money.
It's my lovely wife. She's taking all the money. There's Brian looking like a zombie.
Mahomes, Brady case, some Woods, some big stuff in here.
All right, cool. So you get a little idea of what was going on, and let me show you a picture of our setup, so you can kind of see what was going on and kind of how our setup, looked from where you were at. So this is our setup. We were in the corner right there by the fire extinguisher in the ladies' bathroom. But as you guys know, not much traffic there because there's not many ladies that go to these events. Although there was a lot that I met and saw selling, which is cool. So you can see there we had some high-end, some cases, some wax, and then kind of some stuff over there. And then across the way, catty corner, we also were able to have some space as well, which I'll show you a video of kind of how it kind of looked, and you can kind of get a better idea of that. So this is me walking. And this is during the show. All this stuff. There's Money Bison and YWN Sports Cards on Instagram selling stuff. Let me just go back for a second. I want to show you guys. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like much, but there is so many people, right, kind of in these areas. And just a lot of stuff. So just as I'm walking through, I'm just in a small portion of the section on Sunday. This is Sunday, guys. This is not prime time Friday or Saturday. This was Sunday. But just cards, people dealing, talking, trying to make things happen. Loads and loads and loads of people there. This is me from the back walking, just showing you guys. I'll replay this one too. There's our area. But just kind of an idea so you can see just in this area kind of coming across how vast this was, how big of a showroom this was, with people with stuff really from everywhere. And it can be overwhelming, I think, but the room was manageable. I got to see a lot of people just kind of get to go everywhere and tell me what they saw. Additionally, I don't have any footage of this, but a lot of you can see Friday night, Saturday nights, and Friday night and Saturday night in the lobby areas, there were hundreds of people continuing to trade and wheel and deal. And this was special for me, and I'll just get into some stories, and I'm going to show you some cards that walked to the table. I'm also going to just kind of talk about the buying experience and some of the negatives that I see happening in the hobby, which really just boils down to people lying. I mean, that's, I think, what it is. But I'm sitting there, and you watch people with the cards and what they have and what they're looking to sell. We have a giant buying sign, right? And I can't stress this enough, but I'm seeing the same stuff. And in that showroom, granted we were in Dallas, but I can't tell you how many Luka Doncic PSA 10 prisms and Trae Young PSA 10 prisms and whatever else you want to talk about were there and were not being bought. And this brings up a good point, because I think we get so focused on the PSA 10, the rookie card, so focused on maybe what's hot or what should be liquid, when in reality it's not, and it's kind of a facade. It's smokes and mirrors, where there is so much of it, especially at these shows when it's so concentrated. You talk about like a mosaic silver of LeBron. Oh, what a cool card, Lakers uniform, yada yada. There's probably 700 of those at this event, and probably 700 of them, 500 of them are PSA 10. I'm just thinking about it as I walk around and I see all the things, the rarity and the things that you don't always see, or the things that are hard to get are not there. You're seeing people with stacks on stacks on stacks of Jawed PSA 9 Prism rookies, right? Or and I know they're hot right now, but Fernando Tatis update PSA 10 Topps rookies, right? And you get to this point where you see all that, and you would say, oh yeah, the demand outweighs the supply, but how much of that right now is going to be coming back from PSA? So I'm bringing up those points to kind of just give you an idea of what I was seeing there and what everybody wanted to sell, yet nobody was buying. I overheard some guys talking, why is nobody buying my stuff? How come I can't sell anything? And I think that brings up a good point, because there's so much of certain things that certain things aren't being bought. And this was a great example of that, the Dallas Card Show. Now, for me, I'm very proactive. I'm going to tell you some stories about what I did the night the Jordan PSA 10 sales. But, just an example here. I mean, this is an opportunity for me too. I'm gonna put it up on the screen here. This is a younger guy, BB Sports Cards, young guy, and I'm just there. And I said, how much do you want for everything? And I get the chance to buy all of his inventory out because I need it. But he was able to make a fair deal and work with me on that. There we are. His dad was actually taking the picture. It was a Kodak moment. His dad was so proud that his son was banking. But it's an opportunity to kind of show you guys that at a card show there's so many opportunities. There's so many things going on, and there's so many places to go. And how you navigate that, and how you utilize those goals that you set for yourself. If you watch episode 18 and 19, where I talk about card shows more, I think it can kind of help you curtail what's happening there versus getting lost and feeling swamped. This is another opportunity that came up. This is another guy. Shout out to a guy named Anthony. He goes by Chili something on Instagram. But he came up. We're talking. We're dealing. I buy a few cards from him, and I just simply say to him, man, what are you lugging this thing around for? I can use all these cards. Do you want to sell? And he goes, yeah, I do. I said, well, how much for your duffel bag? Well, check it out, baby. Millipops buys the duffel bag, right? Let me show you on screen real quick. Here he is, right? He comes in, and we make a deal and buying the duffel bag. But I'm using this as an example. Sorry, using this as an example to say when you go to shows, what's your goals, right? And this guy obviously had a goal to make some money, to move some inventory, and I'm glad he did, because there was stuff in there that I remember I bought, and I'm like, you kind of get the good with the bad. And I think to myself, how many of you out there are holding on to stuff that you really need to be moving? So, something to consider. Here's another example. This is a young gal and her boyfriend or her husband maybe. They were buying for me the whole show soccer and Pokemon. Like, think about that combination, right? Soccer and Pokemon in terms of what was hot for her and him. That's just something that's dope. Here's on Sunday, me buying a Jordan rookie from a guy who came over, and a young kid. We talked, Dallas Cards, 21. We're discussing what's going on, and that kind of leads me into Jordan and what happened on Saturday night as we were in the lobby, just hanging out in the lobby. I get a message from Brian. He works in the shop. He's working the event. Brian with the mask, and I called him a zombie. He says to me, Jameel, are you catching this? This is Saturday night about, I don't know, 11 p.m., and he says, the two Jordans just sold for $738,000 each. And I said, what are you talking about? And he texts me back, he goes, the two PSA 10s. So I looked to a friend, and I shout out to my buddy Robert, and I said, Robert, we got to buy every Jordan that's in this lobby right now. It makes sense. It just makes practical sense. So, many thousands of dollars later, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I wound up buying all the Jordans on the floor. And I'm using this as an example of how you take advantage of the situation. Now, some people are saying, oh, the 10s aren't going to do it. The 10s aren't going to do it. I'll wound up buying a PSA 8 for $18,000. I just looked today. A PSA 8 just sold for $32,000. So the market in the world and where we're at, it changes so stinking quick. And the card show really reminded me of like a stock market showroom floor, the New York Stock Exchange, not showroom, but the New York Stock Exchange floor, where things are happening like this, news is coming out like this, and things are being bought and sold like that as well. Some people are behind, Brian, just to give you an example, he went over another dealer on Sunday, the day after, 13, 14 hours after the sale, wound up buying an 87 Fleer sticker set with the Jordan graded. He paid X, made about $1,500 by selling it in the next 10, 15 minutes. So the opportunity is there, and I think for you guys out there who are quick and savvy with it, these card shows will lend to a ton of opportunity for you. Here's some couple things that walk up. I have a big buying sign at these shows, which I enjoy. I'll just show you just a couple things that walked up. This was in the first hour. Here's a Mahomes White Sparkle PSA 10, massive card. Here's in the first few hours, a shout out to a guy, Sasha. He does a lot on YouTube and different places. Sasha comes up. We're talking. He buys a BGS 9.5 Chrome LeBron for me. He's looking at the X Factor that I brought, BGS 9.5 away from a bump. And he goes, man, I got to walk away. So he walks away 15 minutes, comes back. We wind up doing this massive deal with a Durant and a bunch of cash for the LeBron X Factor. The opportunities that come up, this walks up to the table. A guy comes up to me and says, I won this in a Raz. Here's the crazy story about this. He goes, Jameel, I said, how'd you find me? Nobody else wanted this? He goes, you were in the back corner, and I saw the front was too crowded, so I walked to the back and started from the back to the front. You were where I started. You have a buying sign. I said, I'm so glad you came here, man. So we did a deal for this. I think his name was Andrin, and we did a deal for this Luka PSA 10 Obsidian 1 of 1 rookie auto. I mean, so just those opportunities that came so quickly, just people coming up to the table, hanging out with us. And my friend Robert, he bought one of these from a buddy out there. Check that out, 05 Exquisite auto patches. You do not see these very often. Or Jordan with the old painted tape on it, or painted patch, as you can see. So, just as you think about a card show and as you think about these things, this was, again, us in the corner at the very end. Me taking a picture so you guys could see. But the hobby's in a great place. There's a lot happening very quickly. And I think we get caught up in metrics sometimes and comps sometimes that we're not actually thinking about the cards. We're not actually thinking about what makes sense and what can you catch on before it actually happens. I had a lot of people asking me for tennis at the event. I had a lot of people asking me for some alternate kind of sports, things that were a little bit off-kilter, promo cards, yada yada. We sold a lot of Pokemon. We sold a lot of soccer at the event. Maybe it was because we had less of it. We sold a lot of wax at the event. And the wax that I was selling was not retail wax. I know I kind of harped on that in one of the last episodes. The wax I was selling was FOTL and hobby wax, and the wax that not many people have access to, that I got lucky or I bought in or I traded for. So those are kinds of things to be thinking about, from that sell perspective and what people want. One disclaimer, and I'll throw this out there, and I think everybody should know this. I think we're getting into a place where in the hobby there's a lot of mistruth. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you one example, but this was not the only example. There were many of these throughout the weekend where people come to the table, they know that you're buying, and I'll start with two examples. How about that? The very first card that came to our table was a Luka Red, White, and Blue Prism Rookie. Guy wanted $600 for it. In my mind, I thought, man, that's kind of low. It doesn't make sense. Why does he want $600? I looked at the card. I immediately knew the card was somewhat trimmed. I measured it with another card in front of the gentleman, and I said, man, I don't know if you did this or what, but I think the card's trimmed. I'm going to go ahead and pass on it. But, the purpose of that was to try and generate money on somebody to pawn off a card that had been trimmed, immediately in the show for cash to stick it to me. And those are the kind of things that happen, and we're doing that more and more, where the integrity of the hobby and the truth and the honesty in the hobby is being lost. So, again, that moment, passed on it, gave it back to him. I wish I could just chop the card up there and say don't sell it to anybody or give him $5 to do it or whatnot. But I gave him his card back. And then actually at the very end of the show, had another young guy, savvy with cards, came up, told me he had a card that was worth about $15,000 in comps, wanted to trade. I said, that's cool, man. We start getting down to nitty gritty. We're doing all these dealings. We're all certain stuff. And then I go and I look at the comps. The card's not worth $15,000. It's worth about $9,000. And just the audacity, I think, of people sometimes to just straight up lie about cards to better one over somebody else. And I think we're in a place now where you guys got to be very careful. If you're somebody who does lie and you're somebody who just tries to constantly look to better people and stick it to somebody and really screw them, really check yourself in that. I see a lot of that more and more and more at shows than I ever have, and it kind of stinks. But I'm glad that I had an opportunity to kind of talk with you about that. And if you are somebody that does that or you have done that, doesn't mean you can't change. Doesn't mean you can't, try and be a little different and keep some integrity in the hobby. So, coming up here, let's end this episode. Episode 20, the Dallas Card Show was great. Had a great time. Sorry I was kind of everywhere. We just literally got in, drove in, and I just got out and I was like, I got to get this episode done so we can get it out tomorrow, Wednesday. But appreciate you all. Mealy Stocks episode 20. Dallas was great. The people in Dallas were great. The barbecue was great. Hanging out with people were great. Meeting up with people was great. That's what the hobby and the market is really just created, is just this awesome, awesome community. Keep doing it out there. Guys, drop me some comments below. In the comments, I'll try and get to them this week. If you got questions about the card show, if you had some thoughts about the card show, if you went, if you didn't go, it's back in March. We will be back in March. The Millipops shop. Aaron and Nate, I think, are going from Slap Stocks as well. The whole Mealy Stocks combination will be there full effect. So can't wait to see if you are going to go to Dallas in March. And until then, have an awesome time. Keep enjoying the hobby. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Later!